Do wardrobe decisions spark irrational tantrums in your house? What if your closet holds the key to less stress?
Today, we're going to dissect the intentional wardrobe and how smart fashion choices can actually help you combat decision fatigue and give you greater clarity throughout the day. I'm neuroscientist Dr. Shawn Watson, and welcome to Decisions That Count.
And I'm Michelle O'Brien. Our guest, Julie K. Dietmar, CEO of OpenWardrobe, brings over 20 years in retail tech and a passion for sustainable decisions. She's here to show us how to transform overwhelming daily choices into powerful levers for personal well-being.
Thanks, Michelle, for having me. I actually love that you brought up the irrational tantrums statistics. It's actually, I think the stat is about 62% of women experience it at least once in their lifetime while standing in front of their overwhelming wardrobes. Sounds dramatic, but I've seen it firsthand. I've experienced it firsthand, right?
I love like Shawn looks totally confused.
No, not at all. I'm going to be talking a lot about my wife this episode. I'm just trying to logically think how I can to have a good conversation without getting myself in trouble. But I'm not going to say too much on the irrational tantrum parts.
Yeah, but it's that age-old question of you're looking at a wardrobe full of clothes and you just have the question or dilemma. You're looking at a wardrobe full of clothes and you're thinking, I've just got nothing to wear.
Yeah, and how do I have nothing to wear with all of this, right, in my closet? It's actually interesting because what we've noticed is more options don't make people happy, right? It often makes people more overwhelmed. And what we're trying to solve with OpenWardrobe and what we see daily is users upload their closets, and we have users with thousands of items. Some people, we have one person with the biggest wardrobe is over 7,000 items. I don't know who that person is. I know.
Oh my gosh.
And so people upload their wardrobes and suddenly this kind of sea of choices is really in front of their eyes in data. And an initial reaction is like, no wonder I get so frustrated. So the core problem is our brains are just not equipped and not wired to process this sea of choices. It's endless and very, very often similar options because you forget that you have it and you buy something very, very similar. And there are choices that could be right or wrong because there is no confidence that I'm buying and I'm wearing what I'm supposed to be, right? And this creates this decision fatigue and exhaustion and frustration. So many choices, and I still have nothing to wear.
Shawn, you know what? I'd actually just love to know, is there something going on in the brain here with this sheer volume of choice? Like, what's happening there when we're looking? And this doesn't just apply to clothes, right? This could also apply to going to a supermarket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of classic symptoms of decision fatigue. So I'll use my wife as an example. I know when she looks at that closet and has just that overload of decisions. And it'll be after a little while, right? She'll try different things on. She'll look at all of her dresses. And then the first thing she'll do, and it's the first, obvious consequence of decision fatigue, is decision avoidance. So she'll actually delegate the decision to me. So she'll say, what do I wear? Like, you help me pick a dress. Obviously, I don't pick the right one and she doesn't like that decision that I make. And then she'll do some more searching, and then she'll go to the second consequence of decision fatigue, which is what you call default decision making. And so then she'll pick a dress or an outfit or a wardrobe that she's the most comfortable with or has used before in the past. So I think her closet, there's probably a ton of dresses, but there's probably only 3 of them that are very well worn because it's that default decision making. She goes back to what she was most comfortable with and most confident with. So yeah, I think it's a great example of decision fatigue in practice. I think the really interesting question with that, though, and Julie, I'd love to hear your comment on this, is decision fatigue doesn't just immediately go away. She'll leave the house frustrated, and then she still has that decision fatigue when she goes in the morning and she talks to her team, when she tries to make a business decision, is she's still in that state of having decision fatigue. So it doesn't just stay in your closet. You actually carry it with you throughout the morning. But do your customers, Julia, kind of talk about that? Is this a frustration that lasts with them? Or I'd love to hear your thoughts on that side.
Absolutely. So this is one of the things that people comment on. If we remove that one thing, that one decision that you have to make in the morning, everything else kind of falls into place a little bit easier. And some of our clients, they email saying, I am leaving. I'm like my whole life, I've had this attention deficit disorder as an adult. And what your product is helping me is it's helping me to stay calmer. I don't have to stare at this chaos all the time. I can pre-plan and I can be a little bit more mindful. It's interesting what you said about your wife, that she's asking you what to wear. It's either she wants to hear her opinion and your voice, or she's trying to kind of delegate the decision. And what we're all trying to offer and teach people is that you make these decisions ahead of time on what to wear and how to wear. And then you can basically carry it on for months if you have to, if you want to, right? You can pre-plan everything months ahead. And also we're giving them this reassurance and a little bit more of a confidence that you're doing the right thing, because this is really what she wants when she's asking you what to wear. And then you say, oh, pick that dress. And she was already thinking, yeah, I want to wear that dress. So it's basically kind of giving reassurance and confidence.
I mean, I think that applies to men too.
For sure.
Like, I know we're probably not going to go too far down, but like, because I remember like once, I was probably 25 years ago, and a girl's like, Shawn, you look good in blue. And like, since that time, I just always remembered like that comment. So like that reassurance from an outside party, I think is men and women, because we all want to look good, right? So you're right. I'll remember that she's just looking for, what did you say? Her opinion, my voice, or what? Can you repeat that, Julia? What was that line?
She wants to hear her opinion in a deeper voice, or in your voice.
I love it. Okay. Sorry, Michelle, I interrupted you.
No. But I think men should take that forward with not just wardrobe. Often women want to hear her opinion in your voice. So Julia, I actually just want to get into like exactly how this works. Like how does your product help women reduce their decisions and ultimately some of the stress that they're facing first thing in the morning? And men, because the app isn't just for women, right?
Yes, it's for both. It's for men and women. So there are two things. So people can either start with digitizing their wardrobes and then planning. So for people who love statistics and love organization, that's where they typically start with. There is a second path, which is becoming even more popular, is we have something called Style Blueprint. So that is a questionnaire. You spend maybe 5 minutes answering questions, and it's giving you basically a blueprint. I mean, style blueprint. It's in the name. So it tells you what colors are good on you, but it's not necessarily which colors you need to wear. It gives you kind of your good colors, but it more teaches you how to wear color. So do you need contrast, or do you not need contrast, or so how to make color work for your features. So it's colors. Then it analyzes your body shape, and it's very simple. You can either answer questions or provide measurements. It's like super easy. And it gives you, for your body shape, these are the silhouettes that are best for you. For women, it's a lot more nuanced. It's which necklines work, which sleeve types work, which, the silhouette of skirts and pants. For men, it's much easier. And then the third piece, it talks about your style personality. So are you, and there are only maybe really 6 style personalities, but we're never one. We're always a mixture of several. And it depends on what we do on a daily basis, what we are, where are we in our lifestyle. And for the personalities, it's kind of giving you a list of brands that match your personality. So again, it's like for shopping, if you need to buy something, instead of kind of trying to search endless aisles or endless websites, then you kind of go to a little bit more targeted brands. And I'm seeing kind of 2 different audiences for us. So on one hand, it's this control and organization freak. I want all statistics about my wardrobe. I need my cost per wear on every item. I need to know the resale value of my wardrobe. And the other, on the other spectrum is, just tell me that I'm doing the right thing. Or I don't know what I'm doing, kind of guide me through it. So that's how it works. It's very, very much geared to what you need to do and what your goals are in terms of your wardrobe. And there's, I'm going to add one more thing. There is a third aspect is, we have this little tool. It's a browser extension. For when you're shopping, you can shop with your wardrobe and have access to our AI. So let's say you are on the website and you're looking at a blouse or a sweater. You can immediately, through browser extension, access your wardrobe and ask AI, show me how I can wear this with what I already have. And it starts spitting out outfit ideas. And then you can very quickly visualize, I can wear it in 30 different ways, or 50, whatever that number that you're looking for, right? And it's kind of giving you, again, that reassurance. I'm going to buy it. I'm actually going to wear it.
So I love it. So not only is it helping with kind of decision fatigue in the morning on what to wear, it's helping you with the decisions on what to buy.
Exactly.
So you're often being kind of, and this happens to everybody, that we buy something, we get it home, we think, oh God, what was I thinking? It doesn't go with anything I own and it doesn't look good. And I'm quite good at sending things back. My husband, terrible. Once he's bought it, he can never be bothered like sending it back. One of my biggest realizations and around kind of decision fatigue, when I first started working with Shawn, I was like really trying to recognize it in my own life and when I was really starting to feel the symptoms of the condition. And one of the biggest times that I noticed it was online shopping. And so when you're on Revolve or you're on ASOS or wherever you're shopping, you've got 4 rows of items, endless scroll. And so you're scrolling the screen, you're glancing quickly, 4 items, and you could probably look at 12 items in a second. And then you're scrolling. So I don't know, however many minutes, seconds, however many items you could see in a minute, however many items you can see in 10 minutes, it can be thousands of micro decisions that you've made. No, yes. And what I normally do is I actually click on an item and add it to another tab. So I have one tab where I'm scrolling, and then I'll have about 25 tabs at the top, which are like my short list of things that I maybe want to go back to and have a little look in more detail. And then I'll also add things to my bag. And so I've got a really long bag that's also like the short list of my short list. And then I'll kind of go through that and make my final selection. But often, look at Shawn's face.
It's exhausting just listening to you, Michelle.
It's right. But then often there are so many times that by the time I've got to my basket, I'm like, I just cannot even think anymore. Like I can't make a decision. So I will often just totally abandon my cart because I'm like, I'm wasted. All my decisions are done. I've got to that point now where I'm so fatigued, I cannot make a decision on what to buy. And then often some of the smart sites will leave it in your basket. So the next day, if I come back to Revolve and I've got my basket, I can look at it with fresh eyes and go, okay, no. Okay, yes, that's the item that I want. But I often have to leave it. I have to completely leave it, walk it away and come back to it because I've just made thousands of decisions in the span of a couple of minutes. And I don't feel confident in my decision to follow through on purchase. I think being able to have that AI plugin of, okay, being able to then check, is this going to go with my wardrobe? Is this going to go with things that I've already got? Is so valuable.
Yeah. And then you can also check, does it, if you forget what's in your style blueprint, you can say, does it fit my colors? Does it fit my body shape? Is that going to look good? And just listening to you about many, many tabs, it's fine. But you can also just add everything into your maybe wardrobe and then come back to it at any time on your mobile phone when you're on the train or where you are waiting for your to pick up your kids, right? And then play with it. Try to make some outfits with it. And that would probably help you make a decision faster and better.
So you have that feature on the app where you can have like a maybe wardrobe?
Oh, you can have as many wardrobes as you want. So we are allowing you to organize it in whatever way you want. So you can have your main wardrobe, you can have your maybe wardrobe, you can have your wish list, you can have your packing lists. The way I organize, I have everything in one, and then I have my travel wardrobe. So if I'm going on vacation or on business trip, I very quickly, and packing for me takes 10 minutes. It's just so easy. And I always travel with carry-on because I know what fits and I can pack with outfits, and it's all done. Super easy.
I've literally blocked like 3 hours on Sunday in my calendar to figure out, Shawn and I are going to London next week, and to figure out what I've got to take, and we need multiple outfit changes because we're doing multiple podcasts and interviews. And the thought of it is, I've actually got anxiety about all the decisions that I've got to make around packing. And
digitize your wardrobe. It's going to be much easier.
It's such a good idea. I need to do it.
Yeah. And then we're also allowing people to, like, if you want, from your account, you can create a wardrobe for your child or your husband, and you can manage their stuff in the same way also. So it's, and if you have girlfriends, let's say with kids, or girlfriends who you exchange clothes with sometimes, right? You borrow each other clothes. You can do it all in the app. You can open your wardrobe to select people, and you can do it that way. We have moms with kids, who basically just open their kids' wardrobes to each other. Say, oh, my child grew out of this onesie or this jacket. Do you want it? So it's kind of becoming a little bit more of we don't do resale or any of the exchanges in the app yet, but just kind of having this access helps.
What I love about it, Julia, too, and again, just thinking about my wife, is like, she does love fashion, but she loves the creativity of it. And she's also very analytical, though, right? Like she gets really frustrated when she sees clothes that have tags on them still, right? Like, and so she wants to not be wasteful. She wants to manage spend. But what you just described too kind of allows the creativity to happen without maybe the actual purchase and all the emotions that come with it. So kind of with that, what about people who are, I don't want to say addicted to shopping, but like, do you have clients who maybe this is a way that they can experience that hit of dopamine or whatever you want to call it from putting things together from a creativity perspective, but not having to buy? So maybe, thoughts. And then the question about people who is an outlet for, maybe an unhealthy shopping habit.
Absolutely. So people actually commented, many people commented that it gives them the same hit of dopamine as just scrolling through e-commerce site. You basically shop your closet. You scroll through the clothes that you already have. And then on top of that, you can play with it, right? So creativity comes in two ways. You can style yourself. You can style your friends. You basically play with clothes virtually. And for those people who kind of get, they buy something to wear with something in particular, men, I know a lot of men that just go into the store, they see an outfit on a mannequin, say, oh, I like this, buy the whole thing, and that's how they wear it, right? And there is no mixing and matching. So for people who don't know how to mix and match, our AI is designed to basically give you in seconds tons of ideas, right? Some are great, some are not so great, but it basically sparks creativity for you. And then a lot of clients of ours, they comment that, oh my gosh, I would have never thought to pair this blouse with this skirt, to put them together. And when your AI suggested it, I decided to try it. And now I am a lot more free and a lot more adventurous, and I can use my clothes in many different ways. So for sure, so that there is definitely this creativity aspect, and it comes in many different ways.
I love it. How did you come up with this? Like, where did this come from?
Well, so my background is in engineering, and the last 15 years I worked for retail tech companies. My last company was we were building AI for retailers. And because it was based on computer vision, it lent itself very well into apparel. And I worked with so many apparel companies around the world, and everybody's problem was, on one hand, how do I sell more to people who may not even want it or need it? And on the other hand, how do I know more about my customers? And then at the same time, I've been reading all of these issues with unsold inventory and clothes on landfills and huge impact that fashion industry has on the environment. And I don't know if you've heard this statistics, but we right now have enough clothes already produced to clothe the next 6 generations of people.
The next how many, sorry?
6 generations.
6.
6.
6 generations. We have enough clothes already produced.
Yes.
That is
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy? And in the United States, on average, and this is pre-COVID numbers, I'm not sure if it has changed. People on average purchase 68 items of clothing a year. So it's more than one every week.
You know what? I'm giving that stat to my husband because he thinks I shop that. I definitely don't shop that. I definitely don't buy that much. But for the kids, for sure.
I feel like my wife says the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, kids, yes. But for kids, the circular economy, your kids don't wear clothes until it falls apart. They grow faster than the clothes falls apart. So the circular economy for kids' clothing is definitely something that a lot of us have participated, I'm pretty sure, kind of naturally, right? So I have a niece and nephew who are younger than my son, so they basically got everything secondhand from him, which was almost brand new. So I think it's more natural. But for adult clothing, it's not as natural. And until pretty recently, there was even in the Western world, there was even this stigma of secondhand clothing, like, are you too poor to buy secondhand, right? It was not because of environmental issues. We had different values. The value was not on quality. The value is on newness. Having new stuff was valued. And actually, especially with social media and all the influencers kind of doing unboxing and peddling lots of different things, it's all about new. It's not about quality. So yeah, it's basically just different values and shifting.
Yeah, and I'm trying to kind of make more of a conscious decision to be a lot more intentional just with my decisions across the board. But one area that I have been looking into is, okay, my wardrobe. We talk a lot on this podcast about Steve Jobs. He wore the same thing every day, and he did that to reduce the cognitive load that he was facing. That's not, I'm going to be totally honest, it's not practical for a woman to wear the same thing every day. I think very few women would do it, and especially women who want to look nice and feel a bit more creative and show kind of their personality through their clothes, which is what I think a lot of people do. I've been working on trying to create a capsule wardrobe. So I have 5 outfits that I kind of just are on repeat. And then, maybe I switch one of those outfits in and out for something else in my wider wardrobe. And again, that's kind of to reduce cognitive load. But I'm also trying to be very conscious of my decisions and intentional with my decisions to say, okay, I when I buy an item, I want to make sure it's something that I really need, something that's going to go with everything else in my wardrobe, something I might pay a little bit more for, something that's of a higher quality and that's going to last a longer period of time. There are certain shops that I refuse to shop from. Like, I refuse to shop from places like Shein, where the quality of the items are just so bad, so poor, the state in which those items are made, like, you know, it's not clear under the conditions that those items are made, but also just the volume of waste that company is producing. Like, I just don't agree with it. So, you know, I think you know, kind of just coming back to what you were saying, I think being really mindful about what you're choosing, and, you know, what items you are adding into your wardrobe, and being more open to secondhand.
I think there's real emotional weight associated with fast fashion, right? And people, on one hand, especially younger generation, on one hand, they feel guilty about waste and overconsumption. But on the other hand, at the end of the day, if you're like really honest with yourself, cheap and cute wins every time, right? So, we were actually kind of thinking, oh, how can we help with the industry, this overproduction? Our production is kind of leads to overconsumption. And then we consciously decided that we are going to empower consumers instead, right? If you do want to make a difference, even if you do buy from Zara or H&M or Shein, right? How can you feel less guilty about it, but by making better choices? And if you are buying that $5 blouse from Shein, can you actually wear it 30 times to make it sustainable and not throw it out? So, we can't make those companies go away. I don't know, because the reason they're so big, because there is a demand, right? So people do want cute and cheap clothes.
Oh no, just like with that for you, because you're always well dressed, well put together. I love this capsule wardrobe idea. Would the cost per wear be something you're interested in? Like, is that something a stat that you would be keen on seeing?
Yes, definitely. I'd love to actually know it from previous items, because you have things that you just love and absolutely wear to death. You know, and so some items that I know were expensive when I bought them, but I'm like, I've definitely got my cost per wear out of them. Yeah, being able to see that up front would be interesting as well, you know?
Yeah, then Julia, from like a brand perspective, do you think brands would ever start advertising that? Being like, look, this is a little more expensive, but the cost per wear on average is XYZ. Like, just from a sustainability perspective, do you think it would ever encourage shoppers, that stat ever encourage shoppers, just so they see how long it lasts them?
I think, I definitely think yes. You know what actually has been, and I have read statistics on that. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 80%, I want to say, of Gen Zs consider not necessarily cost per wear, but they consider resale value of an item before they're buying it. Because, and cost per wear kind of plays into it, because it's all about longevity of an item. So how many times you can wear it? And then after you're done with it, can you actually resell it and recoup some of that investment? And by the way, this is something that we offer through our browser extension, also our AI. We look at current market conditions and the brand and the type of a garment you're looking at. And we can say, okay, so this shirt from Ralph Lauren in Singapore resells secondhand for, and we give you a range. So you kind of think about, okay, maybe after I'm done with it, I can resell it and recoup this. So it kind of goes hand in hand with cost per wear. But I think it would be an interesting experiment for somebody with quality items, for a brand with quality items, to advertise that.
So with the whole kind of resale thing, so in Singapore, it's quite hard. You can resell, but it is a little bit harder culturally. Whereas like England, it's been a real big thing. I forget the name of the app, but there's a real kind of app that my mum loves it.
Depop, right?
Depop, yeah, that's it.
Depop, yeah.
Yeah, this resale app for clothes, like my mum's gone wild on it and loves it. And my sister bought loads of stuff for her wedding from it, and it was just absolutely amazing. My issue is I get really emotionally attached to things. So if I buy a beautiful dress and it's kind of one of those dresses that you only wear once or twice because, you know, it's so nice. I find it really hard to let it go.
Repurpose it, right? And wear it again.
I know, I just need to keep wearing it. And I've definitely got items that I've put in a box in our storage unit for my daughter because I've just thought this dress was so special to me and it was, you know, a designer that's no longer around or whatever. And I'm like, okay, maybe one day this is something that she would like. So I've also kind of kept a few things to one side. I think I just need to Mary Kondo everything and just, you know, say thank you for the item and let it go because it's quite hard getting rid of stuff.
What is the oldest item in your wardrobe that you still wear?
This might be really gross to admit.
No, it's okay. I'll tell you mine.
This probably isn't the oldest item that I still wear, but I've got a couple of vest tops that were like Lululemon, but they are 12 years old and I wear them every single week to exercise in and they are still like amazing condition, still fit brilliantly. They felt expensive at the time, but 12 years for workout gear that I've pushed to the limit and I wear at least twice a week these particular items.
There you go. Your cost per wear is probably like way, way, way down there.
It's minus. Like there's not even a coin for the cost per wear out of these items. But yeah.
I thought it'd be way older. That's not bad. 12 years, is it?
Yeah, but for active wear, you know?
I guess active wear.
Gym kit that you sweat in and run in and, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I've definitely got items much older than that.
My and which I still wear. I don't wear it as often, but I do wear it maybe like several times a year. But I've had it since, it's going to age me, 1997. I bought, it's vintage by now, right? But it's a blazer from, that brand doesn't exist anymore. It was called Versus. I think I'm pronouncing it, maybe mispronouncing it. But it used to be like a diffusion line of Versace back in the 90s. And I bought their blazer. It's still amazing. I still get a ton of compliments when I wear it. But yeah, it's coming up to 30 years. And I still have it and I love it.
I love that. What about you, Shawn? Have you got anything don't say your cowboy boots. We don't want to admit that on
here. Yeah, those are definitely old. I didn't know shoes could count, but then yeah, definitely boots.
I'm keeping that in, by the way. Everyone's going to know that Shawn wears cowboy boots when he's not in Singapore.
I almost brought them to Singapore. No, I definitely have shirts that are over 20 years old, and it's like definitely a contentious point in the marriage, I would say, because my wife tries to like throw them out. Like she'll try to sneakily get rid of my favorite t-shirts, but I have a bunch that I love wearing, for sure. Like just those favorite t-shirts or favorite sweaters, big time from university. It's more my wife who wants me to get rid of those, but I probably wouldn't wear them outside of the house, I guess. Or she's told me that I shouldn't be wearing them outside the house.
It's really funny because my husband has a couple of shirts that are indestructible and he just loves them. And I joke because every time I look at our vacation pictures from years ago, he's in the same shirt. I'm like, it looks like you've been photoshopped into these pictures.
Just coming back to kind of the companies and ways in which some of these brands can do better. The original idea for OpenWardrobe is a little bit different. Are you okay talking about that?
Yes. So I kind of mentioned that I was working with all these retail brands, apparel brands, and the original idea was to help them make much smarter decisions about assortment and what to produce and in what quantities to produce. So we thought, okay, what if we had like this huge knowledge base of what's in everybody's closet and turn that into insights, like actionable insights for apparel brands so that they could make much smarter decisions about their assortment every season. So yeah, that was kind of the original idea. It didn't quite work out that way. for several reasons. But I still think that there's something there.
Yeah, I wish some of these brands had been more receptive to taking on that data and using that data to reduce the waste from overproduction of items that people aren't necessarily going to want. Or I think most of the time people are drawn to things that are a bit more timeless. And there's a time and a place for something that's a little bit more fashionable, but maybe not in the volumes that they're producing.
I'm not going to name names, but I spoke to one of luxury brands, and the answer I got was, we don't care what people want. It's our job to tell them what they should want.
Oh, it's so Devil's Wears Prada. It's like...
Yeah, so we don't care about your data. We are visionaries, we're creatives. It's our job to tell people what they should want to wear. So yeah, to each their own, I guess.
I wonder if there's a way that governments could enforce that, though. You know, we look at what's happened in France in the last, couple of weeks. Yeah, I wonder if there's a way. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so in Europe is way ahead of United States, Canada, North America in general. I mean, you know this, in Europe, there are laws and regulations right now for traceability and transparency of raw materials, what was made, when, how, what labor conditions. So the digital passports are becoming a big thing. Every garment that's been manufactured, every single garment has a tag. And it can be a QR code, it can be like another form of a digital passport. But any consumer can basically look at where that particular garment was made, what was the materials, what was the farm where cotton was grown or wool was produced. And so this whole traceability, I think it's good. It's really having impact on not just sustainable practices, but it's giving power to consumer to get a little bit better informed and make better decisions. Do I want to buy from this brand because they use child labor or they use toxic dyes or something like that, or they actually can make conscious decisions to follow more sustainable practices? So I think it's great. It's a start. We'll see how it evolves. But I'm definitely hopeful that US and the rest of the world are going to follow.
If we have time, I would love to jump back a bit, just because, Julia, you're obviously, you know a lot about fashion, the intricacies of all of it. Michelle, you're always well put together, well dressed. I kind of want to know the cognitive load of getting ready in the morning from like a female perspective. So I guess the first question what do you pick in the morning? How big of that is an expression of your identity, I would say? Like when you put on different clothes, how big of your identity of a component of that is it? You don't need to give a percentage. If you can, that's great. But like, just describe that to me. Because what I want to kind of understand more about is how emotionally engaged you are with those decisions on your wardrobe. Because for me, I just throw on a shirt and I'm out the door. But yeah, maybe Julia, go first. Then Michelle, I want to hear you as well.
For me, it's huge. I mean, I plan. So depending on my activities and how I want to show up, depending on where I'm showing up and how I want to show up, I would pick a different outfit. Color makes big difference for me. So if I want to feel energized and powerful, red is my favorite color, by the way. So, and it's probably the biggest color that you would see in my wardrobe. So I do feel a lot more energized when I wear red. In terms of decision making and cognitive overload. So what we're trying to teach our clients, and Michelle kind of mentioned it with Capsule wardrobe, but what we are talking about is this concept of outfit formula. So it's not quite like Steve Jobs, who wore literally, it was many versions of the same turtleneck and the same jeans. It's variations, right? So you know that for your body shape, you have kind of a wide leg jeans work for you, or wide leg pants, and they can come in many different iterations. It could be trousers, it can be jeans, it can be a skirt in the same shape, and similar types of blouses. So we're teaching people that if you're buying, it's different things, it's different fabrics, it's different colors, different patterns, but essentially you're kind of wearing the same thing, right? If you look at pictures of some celebrities, for example, Anna Wintour, right, Vogue editor-in-chief. So she has a very distinct outfit formula. She always wears kind of a midi to longer lengths dresses in print. And if you look at it closely, they're very similar shape, all of them. She wears some super nice shoe and a long coat on top. So that's her formula. And it doesn't mean that she needs to wear the same thing every day. She still has variety, but she has a very definite formula that reduces the decision-making when she buys and when she dresses in the morning. And through color, through different fabrics, through different even brands, you can say different things when you show up for whatever you're showing up. If you're showing up for a meeting or a date, or you just go, for a walk, you're saying something through your clothes. And it's, for me, it has a huge, huge difference in what I put on.
Yeah, for sure. For certain things, you want to become a bit more put together. We're doing a podcast, so I've got, I will make sure I'm like a little bit more put together because I'm on camera. However, and I've got that Capsule wardrobe of things that I like to wear. 99% of the time, I choose an outfit based on comfort. So we live in Singapore. It's 30 to 35 degrees every day, 80 to 100% humidity. So it's extremely hot, but you're in air conditioned environments, which can get extremely cold. If I know I've got to walk from the car, which is to the office, which is about a 10-minute walk, I know that in that time, in this heat and humidity, and I've got to do this in an hour or so, that I'm going to be sweating a lot. So I'm not going to put my jeans on today, because by the time I get to the club, I'm just going to be feeling too uncomfortable. So I'm more likely to wear a skirt and a top. So I'm choosing based on the weather conditions that we're facing here. Comfort, I very, very, very rarely wear heels anymore. I'm very much a sneaker or trainer girl. But I think it's almost like I've pre-made the decisions on the items that I've bought, that I like them and what they say about me, but I wear them on a daily basis. The choice is made based on comfort. And if you see me on a weekend, I am short shorts, t-shirts, no makeup on, hair scruff back, and I'm super comfortable like that as well. But Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, it's still comfort.
But you both pre-plan as much as possible. Is that right? So you try to make the decisions before you have to make the decisions, I suppose. Yeah?
Yeah, for me, for sure. If I know that I have a busy day next day, I pre-plan the evening before. Yeah.
And I have this condensed section of my wardrobe where it's like half a wardrobe, and those are the outfits that I don't even have to think about. I wake up in the morning, I just open it and I grab one of them, and it's really not, there is a micro decision in there, but it's not a very conscious one. It's like, okay, how bloated am I feeling this morning? Okay, that outfit's always a little bit tight. I've got to be feeling a bit leaner to wear that one. So I'm going to go with the outfit that's a bit baggier, that I'm going to feel a bit more comfortable in. But there'll kind of be 5 to choose from. It's quite kind of like limited. So I've limited the number of decisions that I'm making, and I've taken a lot of the stress out of those decisions. I know I'm going to look good in those items. This one's slightly looser, so I might feel more comfortable in that today. Right.
And how liberating was those kind of taking those decisions away in the morning? So like sparing that cognitive load in the morning to pre-plan. And I love, Julia, because your app is kind of the technology assistant to this, right? But it seems like both of you have done this through habit and wisdom and whatnot. But how much what was the cognitive load difference starting your day when you didn't need to make those decisions? Was it noticeable? Like, do you start your day differently, not having to spend that cognitive capacities to decide what to wear?
Yeah, you just take some stress away in the morning, first thing in the morning, because this is kind of one of the first things you do, right?
And it was noticeable.
It's yeah, for me it was noticeable. It's actually interesting that you mentioned technology. I want to say that technology gets you only that far. If your closet is still a mess, right, and if you're still staring at it, even if you know what you're going to wear, good luck finding it in the mess, right? It's for me, that was a huge source of stress. And just cataloging everything and getting rid of stuff that I don't need anymore, and just making that physical space created mental space for me.
Yeah, I think one thing I would add, and what I'm excited to kind of get stuck into open wardrobe is I am kind of limiting myself to those 5 items, and I've got 3 other wardrobes full of clothes that are not getting worn. And so, going through that process of like cataloging everything and then having AI put together some outfits for me, is that maybe every 2 weeks I go in, I generate some outfits for me. Those 5 outfits and I'll use those for 2 weeks, and then I'll maybe move on to something else, maybe making the rest of my wardrobe more usable rather than now I'm really only using a fraction of it.
No, it's really cool. I mean, I love the idea, Julia. Honestly, the first thing I thought of is like, does this mean I can buy clothes for my wife? Like, if can I actually online shop and seeing her wardrobe? Because I would never dare. But now if I actually have the app and whatnot, it opens up a whole new avenue of me for potential gifts. So it's really cool. I love the creativity tied with analytics. And from what we just talked about today, I mean, just from YouTube, what you just mentioned, it's going to have a tangible impact for a lot of women in the morning. They're going to start the day off on a better foot than they were before, right? So I think it's really smart, really clever. And I think you're tackling an issue of decision fatigue that is pervasive in society now. And this is a really smart way to help people out.
Yeah. And for me, it's like, it's threefold. It's like you're solving the cognitive overload and the decision overload of what to wear in the morning that can result in stress and high emotions. You're also tackling the cognitive overload and the decision overload of what to buy when online shopping, just the sheer volume of what to look at, helping people make more like intentional decisions on what they're buying, so it kind of fits within their wardrobe. And then the bigger decision to be a more conscious consumer, using what you have, looking at what what you should buy, and that's going to go, and maybe encouraging people to look at the circular economy as well, looking at where they can buy secondhand, or at least where they can sell their clothes on forward. So you're just doing such an incredible job, and it's such an incredible app. Can't wait to kind of get stuck into it myself. I've already kind of logged in and everything, but the job of cataloging the wardrobe comes next.
It's worth it. It takes a bit of time, but it's worth it. I'm going to throw in one more benefit, maybe kind of jokingly, but I think there is something there. It also saves relationships. Just think about how many times you're trying to get ready and your husband's like, "You're still not ready? You're still not ready? We're going to be late. You're still not ready?" So it's a real thing. So people can, yeah.
Well, because we're on camera, I guess I'll say I have no comment.
Smart man.
Yeah, Tegan's gonna love this episode. Especially after you taking her to a bad noodle bar for your anniversary.
Oh, yeah. So, still living with that. Yeah.
In the doghouse. Julia, is there anything else that you'd like to share about your journey or Open Wardrobe or your mission before we go?
Yeah, I mean, we started talking this conversation with rational tantrums over selecting clothes, but we've really been talking about clarity, confidence, and living with intention, right? Fashion and clothes is just an entry point. And if you simplify the small stuff, you create space for bigger things. That's kind of my philosophy. So yeah, I really appreciate you having me on, and appreciate you encouraging your listeners to make every decision count.
Sorry, I love that, and you are so right, because that's what we always want to share here. Shawn's very much a neuroscientist and expert in the condition of decision fatigue, and it's how really getting people thinking about how they're spending their decisions. You've got a finite number of quality decisions a day, and you don't need to waste it on this. Really save those decisions and those thoughts for bigger, more important things. So I think you said it beautifully.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Julia. This is going to be one of my favorite episodes, I think, because it's a totally unique angle to tackle a very real condition, and it does have meaningful impact, and people will notice the difference with it. And it's not just eliminating decisions. I think it's also giving people more confidence in the decisions that they do make. And so, yeah, really appreciate you having on, and looking forward to the app developing and giving it a try myself. And I'll let you know how my first purchase of the clothes for my wife goes. So we'll depend on your AI for that.
Amazing.
Yeah, we'll have a whole good decision, bad decision episode on Shawn's wardrobe choices.
That would be amazing.
It would be brilliant. We'll link to Open Wardrobe, of course, down below in Julia's profile in case you want to reach out to her. And if you've got any questions, as always, please comment below, share this episode with anyone who you think would like to hear it. And we'll be back next week with another episode. And thank you very much for listening, watching, wherever you are, and make every decision count.